Hi, it's Sprinkles, and I'm here with a mindful moment called balancing breath. This breath is going to help us get present and to help regulate our nervous system, bringing our nervous system into a sense of balance and harmony. We're going to do this by creating an equal length of inhales and exhales. And so, this is going to be really the quickest way that you can help to get present and get a sense of feeling calm within because our breath is always available to us, no matter where we are, what we're doing, we have our breath. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to come into the awareness of our breathing patterns first, and then we'll do the exercise called balancing breath. I invite you to get comfortable sitting in a chair. And rather than a couch or a chair that has a soft back, try to find one that has a nice supportive back to it. And when you find that chair, feel your feet pressing down into the floor, and then feel your sit bones in the chair. Feel the back giving you some support. Maybe shrug your shoulders up and then let them roll back and down a few times before you bring them to stillness. And just gently slide your chin back and place your head right above your shoulders so that you feel like that nice line of energy going up your spine. And that's going to allow your breath to move nice and freely within your body. Now, I invite you to close down your eyes if that's comfortable for you. You can also just find a soft gaze looking at the floor or at your lap and start to pay attention to how your breath is naturally moving in and out of your body. You may notice that your breath feels a little bit shallow. Maybe it feels a little choppy. Maybe it feels quick. It could also feel like it's flowing really freely and smooth, easeful. And just simply notice. There's no criticism here. There's no need to think that you're not breathing correctly. It's just mindfulness is coming into the awareness of how our breath is moving naturally and just being okay with it and using that as information. It's very common since you just sat down for the breath to be moving fast or quick or feel shallow in your chest. And now we'll start to pay attention to our heart rate. So you can place your palm just right on your heart, trying to find a heartbeat. Notice how it is beating for you. Maybe the heartbeat feels a little bit quick or fast. Maybe it feels slow and steady. But most likely, if your heart rate is quick, it was because your breath was as well, because they are linked together. And that's why when we start to slow down the breath, we naturally slow down our heart rate and we start to feel a more balanced nervous system. Now we'll start to also notice whether your inhales or your exhales are longer in length. So start to pay attention to how the breath is moving in your body and how you're exhaling, and which is longer. I don't know about you, but for me, I naturally notice that my inhales are longer than my exhales by quite a bit. And the inhale is the more active part of the breath, whereas the exhale is the more calming, relaxing part of the breath. The inhale is related to the sympathetic branch of our autonomic nervous system, whereas the exhale is linked to the parasympathetic or rest and digest part of our nervous system. So just noticing the inhales and the exhales. We're going to start to balance those out, which is going to take a little bit of effort. It's going to take us actually learning to control the breath a little bit and practice. Now, before we begin, we normally take about 16 to 18 breaths per minute. And that's when we're just subconsciously breathing and not really paying attention. So that's pretty quick. That's a lot of breaths. It amounts to 24,000 breaths a day, approximately. But we're going to slow it down and we're going to try to be taking closer to 5 to 8 breaths per minute instead. By doing so, like I said, we'll start to feel more alignment of our nervous system. Now let's practice together. We're going to begin by inhaling for the count of three and exhaling for the count of three. We're going to do that counting, and then I'm also going to give you a visualization and a mantra. So there's going to be different ways in which we'll practice. Let's go ahead and begin together. We'll start by just inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, and do that a few times by inhaling through the nose and a nice long exhale through the mouth. We begin to feel as though that exhale lengthens a bit more naturally. Now we'll do that again. And when we come to the end of the exhale, we'll start to count together. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Pause. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Pause. Continue on your own for a few breaths. Noticing that as you count to yourself may feel a little bit better than having someone count for you. Now, you can continue counting, or you may enjoy the visualization of as you inhale, visualizing a wave rising and then a wave cresting at the top and rolling back out. You can continue that visualization, or you may enjoy a mantra, which is just we're going to be words that we repeat. So through you exhale, you'll begin to inhale. I breathe in, pause. I breathe out, pause. I breathe in, pause. I breathe out. Continuing just like that. Then we'll choose whichever worked best for you. Do a few rounds just like that. You can go back to counting, you can go back to visualizing the wave, or you can continue with the mantra. Notice how you're feeling now compared to when we started. Perhaps there's a greater sense of peace and calm, presence. Maybe you're starting to feel more balanced. Really, all of these are kind of cues that your nervous system is coming more into balance rather than that rushed and hurried sense that we feel all the time of the doing and the going. We're learning to just sit and be right now, slow down. We'll move on to the count of four. So, if the count of three felt good to you, or if it felt too quick, you can stay with that. You don't need to move up to four. You could even go down to the count of two if you prefer. And just know that when you're navigating a serious health condition and you're either on some sort of meds that have side effects, or if you have had surgery recently and you're recovering, even ongoing, sometimes it takes a while to get, our lung capacity back up. If you are in the midst of treatment of any kind, these are all things that will keep your sympathetic branch, the stress response of the nervous system, more active. And so it may be a little harder to regulate your breath. And so it's okay to take a step back, go with a lower count, honor your body because you know how you feel best. If you'd like to go on to the count of four, join me. Otherwise, just mute this video and continue on your own. And again, we'll start by inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And we'll start counting for one, two, three, four. Pause. Exhale. Four, three, two, one. Pause. Inhale. One, two, three, four. Pause. Exhale. Four, three, two, one. Pause. Now continue on your own for a few counts. Once again, takes a little while to settle into a new count, so give it a minute. Feel into your own count. And then I invite you to bring in a visualization. I like to imagine a leaf floating up into the air as I inhale and then floating back down as I exhale, or maybe a feather that's caught in the wind. Or maybe it's a bird flying up and then coasting back down, bringing in your own visual. And then there's a mantra similar to the one we used before. Go ahead on your next exhale. We'll start to say, I breathe in slow. I breathe out slow. I breathe in slow. I breathe out slow. Just letting your breath continue, settling into whichever feels best to you, whether it's the count, the visualization, or the mantra. And take one more round of breath here. Before you Blink your eyes open. Just come back into a normal breathing pattern. No more controlling the breath. Just let it be. And notice if anything has shifted for you. Maybe your breath feels a little smoother naturally, moving in and out of your body. Maybe you feel a sense of ease within, or calm, or peace. Maybe you notice that you haven't been thinking that much. Your brain has taken a back seat and you feel more in your body. You may even have emotions that come up because when we calm the thoughts down and we get into our bodies, sometimes it brings us into this state of calm that we didn't even know we had within. And emotions can sometimes come up when we get in touch with ourselves in this way, which is normal. You can blink open your eyes when you feel ready. And thank you so much for joining me for that. I hope that you are feeling good in your bodies right now. The takeaway is to, I like to say sprinkle, since my nickname is Sprinkle, sprinkle in some breath breaks into your day. Um, some of you may have a watch that cues you to breathe, or you could set an alarm on your phone. You could put a sticky note up that says, just breathe. And whenever you see it, practice. You don't have to practice for as long as we just did. This was a way to teach it, but you could really just do a minute or two and notice, how you're feeling. Sometimes it takes a minute, sometimes it takes two or three. It just depends on how revved up your nervous system is. But the more you practice, the better you're going to get at this, and the more your lung capacity will start to expand. It's similar to working out. So if you practice a little bit, you will feel a little bit of benefits. If you practice more, like I like to do this as often as I can, because then when I really need it and I'm feeling stressed out, it's a really natural tool for me to grab. It's like it's in my tool belt, and I just have to be like, hey, I've got this breathing practice, and I can come into my body, I can regulate my nervous system, and then I feel a sense of well-being. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not always easy, and there's plenty of times I don't do it when I need to. But again, it's a practice. We're not perfect, and that's okay. So I invite you to try this whenever you can, like going into a doctor's office. You could do this sitting there. You could close your eyes, or you don't even have to. Sometimes I like to do it when I'm in my car, of course, eyes open then, but it helps me to feel more calm when I'm sitting in traffic. When notice you're up in your head waiting for scan results and days upon days just waiting, just try to tap into your breath and notice if it brings you out of that head space of worry and into this space of, okay, I'm all right now. In this moment, everything is good. If you are going on a first ascents trip, you could do this before you do adventure and, get on into the kayak or start rock climbing. Or if you're going on your own adventure, same thing, because it brings you into the present moment and then you feel more just ready to do whatever you're doing. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you soon.